An X-ray was taken of Tutankhamun's golden mask. The golden mask of King Tutankhamun, as it appears in the X-ray until recently, archaeologists believed that the mask was made from one piece, but it was quite a surprise when the mask was subjected to an X-ray examination. The surprise was that the mask contains more than one part that was welded with very precise welding that is not visible to the naked eye. At that time, everyone was astonished by what the ancient Egyptian civilization had reached in terms of knowledge and progress in the field of alloys and the gold industry.
Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Why do you do this? Right in the moment, couldn't see your behavior was toxic for me. Eternal optimist, I make the best of it. Couldn't see your behavior. Why do you do this?
They know who built the Great Pyramid, don't they?
No, they don't. No, they definitely don't. Archaeologists have attributed it to certain pharaohs, but there's a lot of problems with that. The Great Pyramids, they said they think they're tombs, but there's no evidence they're tombs. They've never found like pharaohs in them or anything.
They have burial chambers.
No. Those are different areas. That's not the pyramids. Not the pyramids themselves. The pyramids are so massive. There's 2,300,000 stones.
Yeah, the Great Pyramid was the tallest building on Earth until like 1860, I think.
There's stones that were cut from a quarry that was 500 miles away. They cut obelisks that were like thousands of tons. They moved them through the mountains and got them hundreds of miles away. They have no idea how they did that. They were probably very sophisticated, but in a different way than us. They probably had technology that we haven't figured out yet because we went to combustion engines and electricity, and that's how we figured out how to use human creativity and constantly innovating when we created technology that went in this way. But it's really possible that another culture 20,000 years ago or whatever had figured out a way to innovate the way we have with combustion engines and electronics, but in a completely different way.
Egypt, 1934. Beneath the blazing sun and upon the golden sands of the Nile, mankind embarks on a monumental feat, the first ever construction of a colossal stone pyramid rising proudly from the desert floor. At the heart of this vast site, thousands of workers labor tirelessly, hauling and placing enormous blocks of stone with astonishing precision. Though only the lower tiers have taken shape, the grandeur to come is already apparent. The pyramid stands incomplete, yet awe-inspiring. Nearby, carved from solid bedrock, the majestic head of a lion with a human face begins to emerge. Dubbed the Sphinx, this enigmatic sentinel is destined to watch over the sacred grounds for centuries to come. Engineers, dignitaries, and curious onlookers gather to witness history in the making. Never before has such ambition been poured into the sands of time. And so, before our very eyes, a legend is born. Not from the pages of ancient texts, but from the hands of modern men, chiseling their place into eternity.
Pyramid power plant theory is a lot like Tesla's technology. The Giza Plateau, there is an aquifer under there. There's a lot of water under there. And that water would create this resonant frequency. And they found copper rods that go down there that would help bring up some of the electricity or however it worked. And then in the pyramid, at the various chambers, there's residue of certain chemicals that when combined create a lot of hydrogen. So coming down from the Queen's chamber and then, I forget the other chamber. They're built in a way so they come down, you use gravity and you just pour these chemicals down, creates this hydrogen reaction, there's residue of these chemicals there. This is not a conspiracy theory. The hydrogen expands, comes up through the gallery, this big hallway that goes up to the King's chamber. And they've discovered that in the Grand Gallery, there used to be these wooden posts, and those would create sound. It's called a Helmholtz resonator. Like when you blow across a bottle, it goes, whoo. That air is a Helmholtz resonator. So this hydrogen would come up through the chamber. These things would resonate with sound, F-sharp chords specifically, and that would cause it to build up more and more and more. The hydrogen expands. This chamber is built out of rose granite, which is an unusual type of granite because it's densely made of quartz. And when you compress quartz, it creates electricity. It's called piezoelectricity. And if you have a lot of quartz, you can create a lot of electricity. You've got the hydrogen expanding, creating this electricity. It's ionizing the air, amplifying it more. You've got the sound coming through, amplifying it more. And then you've got this hole leading into the king's chamber that's 4.8 inches by 8.4 inches, which is the perfect size for a hydrogen atoms microwave to just fit through as a waveguide. Comes up into the king's chamber, and the king's chamber has these pillars and on top of it a bunch of stones that are stacked. Everything is really smooth, except the top is really rough. But what they found is that this creates music, creates this chord. And what the theory is it's rough on top because they would chip away at it and tune it until it was just about right. And that's why it's smooth on the bottom but rough on the top. So you've got all this energy. So how do we get it out? When the pyramids were new or, intact, the interior is made out of a certain type of limestone that electricity can move around in. The exterior is made out of a different kind of limestone called THRLL limestone, which is quarried from far, far away. But it's a special type of limestone that's very low in magnesium. It's a great insulator. So you've got this electricity, and then you've got sort of this conductor, and then you've got another insulator. And that's called a dielectric, and that creates even more power. And if you had a gold capstone on top, which is a great conductor, you can force that energy up through the capstone and up into the ionosphere. And that's what Nikola Tesla was trying to do.
People don't believe that ancient humans had any intellect at all. And they say, oh, they couldn't have built this. It must have been by aliens. But give our freaking species some credit for figuring stuff out.
Okay, well, that's what I want to ask you, because the other day I was watching this thing about pyramids, and people truly believe that the technology to build pyramids wasn't of this earth, because at the time the pyramids were being made.
So it was Europeans coming to Africa, seeing an amazing civilization that they could not imagine an African build, and they must then invoke some other cause that enabled them to build it. Excuse me, clever people come in all colors, all right?
Okay.
So just because you can't figure out how somebody built a pyramid doesn't mean the people who built the pyramid got help from aliens. That's all I'm saying. Consider also that when they built the pyramids, were they in a hurry? Did they have a shortage of labor? Of course not. And a pyramid could take 100 years to build with 1,000 people. If you have give me 100 years and 1,000 people, I'll build any damn thing.
All right. You gotta send me the blueprints, Neil.
Let's send you the blueprints.
Okay.
We could go on, but the point is clear. The handbags are everywhere. The question is, why? Why are all of these ancient cultures depicting the same thing? Of course, the simplest of explanations, and the one usually proposed by the most unimaginative of mainstream scientists, is that there is no mystery at all. The handbag carvings are exactly that, mundane carvings of simple handbags, not anything special or mysterious. In some ways, this explanation makes sense, if you don't think about it too deeply. Of course, broadly speaking, bags are a simple object that every culture had, so surely it is possible that every culture depicted them as they might depict the use of a bowl, a shovel, or a chair. And yet, the handbags found in carvings around the world do not simply appear as mundane objects in everyday use. Again and again, they appear in the hands of deities and as parts of mythical scenes. It's not as though these mythical scenes are filled with other everyday items, so if the handbags are merely handbags, why depict them there in the first place? Do they not seem out of place amongst gods and myths? Moreover, it's not just that handbags appear in carvings across cultures, but that they almost always seem to be a specific handbag. Think about it. If every culture used bags, then certainly these bags appeared in a near infinite number of shapes, sizes, and designs. And yet, across cultures, the handbags found in these carvings look almost identical. Often, they're even held the same way, in the palm, with the fingers upturned. Think about other things which near every culture created, and how differently they can appear, from weapons to vehicles, to pottery, to gods, to music, and so on. Suggesting that the handbag carvings found in cultures across the world are simply handbags seems to raise more questions than answers.
In the Peichten region of Guatemala, they have just uncovered a discovery that will change the course of humanity forever. I don't know if you've heard about this, but here you can see them digging, and they come across the top of a pyramid here, and they're kind of speculators of like what it is. And as it gets deeper and deeper, the writing on it, I shouldn't call it writing. It's actually a type of Egyptian writing, an Egyptian petroglyphs, if you might call it that, but it's not quite Egyptian. The signlists are calling it a reformed Egyptian because it's a little bit different. But again, this is in Guatemala. This happened last week. These diggers are trying to show us what is on here. You can see now, look, here's some photos. It looks like some sort of sarcophagi under there, and then this pyramid next to it. And as they get closer, look at that. It looks like an alien being. They said that all the writing shows that it shows the word for cousin, and then it shows the word for sky. And so it's saying sky cousins. They're about to open the sarcophagi in part 2 of this video, and it is going to blow your mind, the type of bonage that they find in here and the fleshage that they find throughout the sarcophagi. But I will post that in part 2. First, I want to look at this. Doesn't that look like aliens? Again, this is like a reformed Egyptian, but it's showing aliens, and apparently it shows the history of the world, but not just for humanity, but for another species that has been living amongst us. Again, this is breaking news. It's going to change the course of humanity forever. I'm going to post in part 2 what we see in that sarcophagi, so go... It's going to blow your mind. That's all I can say. So buckle up and hold on to your seatbelts.
Okay, you guys, so I saw some people talking about how in Revelations, the terms have changed when it's talking about the mark of the beast. So I wanted to check out in my old 1857 Bible what it says. So if we go here to Revelations, it's 13:16. And he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand. Wait, okay, this is the part. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. And that no man might buy or sell save he, that he had the mark or the name of the beast or the number of his name. Okay, so it's changed. In our newer Bibles, it says mark on their right hand or on their foreheads. I wonder when this changed. If any of you know, let me know. And if you know any other changes like this, can you let me know in the comments so I can look them up in this Bible?
They're hiding this from you. The pyramids of China aren't just ancient tombs, they're evidence of a forgotten connection to extraterrestrial beings from Egypt. But that's not even the craziest part. In ancient Chinese texts and folklore, there are references to legendary emperors and mysterious beings, saying the pyramids were built by those who mastered the stars. The Chinese pyramids were constructed over 2,000 years ago, so who were these master builders? This is where things get scary. In recently uncovered ancient manuscripts, it's said that the Chinese pyramids weren't merely tombs, but sophisticated structures created by an advanced civilization known as the Sangsingdui. The manuscripts specifically mentioned that the Sangsingdui, who had advanced knowledge of astronomy and engineering, built the pyramids to align perfectly with celestial bodies and to harness cosmic energy. However, once the Sangsingdui left, their knowledge was hidden, and the true purpose of the Chinese pyramids was concealed to keep this powerful technology from being misused.
Oh, something's going up real fast. A plane? I can't tell what it is. Whoa, is that moving quick? That could be a drone. I don't know what the hell that is. But that is quick. There's only one remaining right now. Whatever that green flashing one is, he moved quick around it to get it. Super quick. He's like right there with it. Go, ooh, he's like right on it. Ooh, 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 ooh. That whatever it was just shot down the drone, if that was a drone.
Hasn't been until recently. That technology. That's Ag Autonomy's co-founder and CEO, Tim Cooper. For the last 40 years, the Ag Information Network has been a source of news for farmers and ranchers.
Do you recall, not long ago, when you walked on the sidewalk? Innocent, remember, all we did was care for each other, but the night was warm.
Tomorrow is your only chance to see the supermoon. If you miss this one, you're not going to see it again for a long time, so make sure you don't. So a supermoon is when the moon is actually closest to Earth in orbit, and you get these crazy scenes where it looks like something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Where the moon literally looks ginormous, like it's crashing into Earth. This is genuinely real. But if you get a chance to watch it while it's actually rising off the horizon, that's where you see something truly special, because it is insane. Now, if you are new here and you don't want to miss this and future events, make sure you hit that follow button and I will keep you updated. So, you're actually going to be able to see this between January 2nd, today, and January the 4th over the weekend. But January the 3rd, tomorrow, is the best chance to see it in its full action, where it will literally look like an alien spacecraft is coming to Earth. Obviously, people that don't know about the supermoon and that it is coming, that's when everybody goes like, what the hell is that? But you're all going to know about it. Make sure you share with a friend so they don't miss it either. Now, for the best views, if you want to watch the actual sun rising, then this is what you want to do. Look towards the eastern horizon around moonrise, and at sunset it will be pretty cool as well. But this is the last supermoon until the end of 2026. Normally there's a couple of them a year, but this one is so big it's not actually going to be happening to this level until probably 2027.
In 2014, an archaeologist discovered dozens of huge stone containers abandoned on the plains of Laos. The huge jars are different sizes and weigh several tons. They have baffled experts since they were first studied in the 1930s.
These giant stone jars date back almost 3,000 years. They have these nearly perfectly round apertures at the top. They stand anywhere from 3 to 10 feet high. Some of them weigh as much as 14 tons.
Local legend believes they belong to giants.
Just this morning, Egyptian archaeologists working within the Great Pyramid have announced and released photos of their discovery of 2 additional sealed-off chambers inside the Great Pyramid on the Giza Plateau. Only one of the chambers has been entered using a small drill and camera, and what you're looking at is a previously unknown chamber that has seen no light and no man has stepped foot in almost 5,000 years. They're going to continue scanning the corridors and looking for avenues to explore the other unexplored chamber above the King's Chamber. Likely, if any discoveries are to be made within these chambers, it will solve the mystery of who truly built the pyramids and when.
This is the secret the pyramids were hiding, and it changes everything we know about ancient Egypt. In 1925, a British archaeologist named Dr. Evelyn Harper discovered a hidden chamber deep within the Great Pyramid of Giza. Inside, she found a strange device made of an unknown metallic alloy, covered in hieroglyphs that no one could decipher. The device was shaped like a small pyramid, with intricate gears and glowing crystals embedded in its surface. When Dr. Harper touched it, the device activated, projecting a holographic map of the night sky, but not the sky as we know it. The stars were in positions they hadn't been in for thousands of years. The hieroglyphs around the device were eventually translated. They spoke of a civilization far older than Egypt, one that had mastered the stars and used the pyramids as a kind of cosmic antenna. According to the text, the pyramids weren't tombs, they were power sources, designed to harness energy from the universe itself. But the most shocking revelation was this. The device wasn't just a map, it was a key. In 2023, a team of researchers used modern technology to reactivate the device. When they did, the pyramids began to emit a low, resonant hum. The ground shook, and the sky above Giza darkened. From the apex of the Great Pyramid, a beam of light shot into the heavens. The device projected a new message. The gate is open. They are coming.